Hey everybody. This episode of the podcast is my interview with all four members of melancholy power pop quartet Merin. I would try to describe their sound myself, but their official bio does that way better than I possibly could. So I'm just going to lead off with that, and you get a better idea of what they sound like. Old flowered couches and wood-paneled basements. Buzz pedals in your older brother's tape collection. Modern nostalgia for a grown-up generation. Merin is who you want to hang out with on a Saturday night and remind yourself that life can be pretty alright. They recently released an excellent EP, the first as a four-piece band, and are currently on tour across Canada. It's a fun interview with a band that's going places and is making really interesting sounds here in Winnipeg. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Park Theatre, Winnipeg's premier concert and event venue. If you want to find out all the great shows they have coming up, go to myparktheatre.com.
You're listening to Garbage Hill, Winnipeg's first podcast network.
Welcome to Witch Police Radio. I am not in a donut shop or a mall food court for once, which is kind of unusual these days. It's nice to actually be in a house because, you know, I take this on the road wherever I go, and there's been some weird ones lately. But this is good. It's nice and cozy, and I'm here
cozy.
with...
It could still get weird.
Oh, I'm sure it'll get weird. I'm not worried about that, but yeah. I'm here with... This is the whole group, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So all four members of Merin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I think that maybe just the best way to start, because there's such a large group of people here, is just sort of go around this little table and introduce yourselves by name and instrument, and then listeners can put a name to the voice. So let's just start right here.
My name's Catherine. I play guitar and sing a little bit in Merin.
And harmonica.
I do play harmonica in that
Cool.
song.
Cool.
I'm Jordan. I play bass and sing a very little amount.
I'm Cole. I play guitar poorly. I'm responsible for most of the stage banter.
Okay.
And that's pretty much my role summed up.
He's also the creator of Merin.
Yeah.
But we
And
won't
lead
go into
lead
that.
singer
Lead
and
I was thinking of going by
songwriter.
Cole the creator.
It had the comma in there, though.
Yeah.
Really awkward comma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm Joel, and I play drums and sing a bit.
Cool. And just so I can sort of frame this, how long has this been a group? Because I feel like I've heard the name before, and I don't know how long it's actually been, the name has been popping up in...
Yeah, well, I did the songs the spring before last.
Okay.
By I recorded the first set of songs over that summer, starting in the spring, and then so I guess that was like 2.5 years ago, and then I asked these folks to be in a band with me that fall, and then I think we played our first show in March.
May.
Jordan's
May.
birthday.
Okay.
May. So 2 years coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it was just you, was it also under the same name, or had you been using...
It was under the name, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I was anonymous at first. I thought that was cool, and then it turns out that's not very cool. And then
It's better to have a band.
The
Yeah.
first EP is entirely cool.
Yeah, I saw that online, yeah. Did you get backlash for being anonymous, or...?
No, not at all. I felt pretentious and lame.
Okay.
So I was just like, because I had someone message me on Instagram like, oh, hey, really like the songs, I should book you. And I knew the person really well, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I being anonymous? So I was like, no, I'm cool. It's me.
Yeah.
Hi. It didn't last very long.
Yeah. So I guess at what point did you decide you wanted to have a band as part of the project rather than just yourself?
Well, I wasn't sure I was going to play shows anymore or do anything like that, but it was kind of just my creative outlet, and I wasn't even sure I was going to put the songs out there. And then when I did, and people were liking them, and I was really proud of them, then I thought, okay, well, I might as well just assemble a crack team here. And actually,
we were a crack
the
team.
3 first people I asked were the 3 people that said, yeah, let's do this.
Oh, cool, okay.
And so... Joel, speaking of the 3 people, you haven't introduced yourself yet, have
No,
you?
he
He
did.
did.
Oh, did you?
Kind of snuck under the radar there. Yeah.
Fix that in post.
No, I will forget about it by the time this comes out.
I will fix it in post, don't worry.
Sure, in
Yeah.
post, yeah.
I like to imagine the origin story to be the scene in the Blues Brothers.
I don't know which scene.
Which
where
scene?
They see James Brown, and he's
Oh, yeah,
doing the
yeah.
gospel thing.
At the
It's
church, yeah.
band, the
Nice.
band.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you knew all of these people in the group then before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joel, I barely knew.
Yeah.
But we had played one show together when he was in Ala Mode,
Mm-hmm.
and I was playing in a band called Tent Rentals.
Okay.
And we had like a super fun show together, and we got along really well. And then we like didn't really see each other in person after that, but we made each other playlists and best of the year lists just for
Okay,
each other.
sure.
And
So
and
cute.
and I knew he and I liked your Beef Donut album that you gave me at that show.
That's a good album, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and so as soon as I needed a drummer, I was just my good friend Anil plays drums in another project with me, but he's manages car dealership. Wow, I'm going way off on a tangent. But so I knew he wouldn't have time, and I was like kind of just wanting to work with different people anyway, and so
And I didn't know Joel. I didn't know you at all.
Nope.
We had never met before. The first rehearsal at Cole's place, and we rehearsed in Cole's dad's basement
Okay.
because his family's awesome.
Mm.
And
It's
it was
always
funny
nice to have
because it
that,
was
eh?
like
Yeah.
I'm invited over, and I hardly knew you. I knew Jordan kind
Yeah.
of, but then we just like went to your house,
yeah,
said hello to your family,
Yeah.
met Joel, and then became a band.
yeah, that's right.
was great.
And that first jam was pretty fun too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I
really
don't even
fun.
feel like it was.
At one
Yeah, it
point,
was
I
perfect.
remember I turned the lights off and put a strobe light on.
Did
yeah.
you?
I did.
I remember
I
that.
would remember that, but actually I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then everything came together after the strobe light. That was like the
Yeah,
strobe light-
yeah.
He hypnoptized
Yeah,
us,
that's
and
the
that's why
glue.
we're still here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the strobe light's the glue that holds us
It's
together.
the unofficial fifth member of Merin.
We've literally never used it since then.
Yeah.
No, maybe you should.
though.
Maybe you should start. Yeah.
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
Well, we are going on tour in a little bit.
Yeah,
Or
a
maybe
week and a
we've
bit.
already
Maybe
gone.
you already are, depending when people
Maybe
hear this.
we've
Yeah,
already
yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe that needs to fit in the van.
Mm.
Maybe the strobe light needs
Yeah.
to come.
Put it on the top.
Of the van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get instantly pulled over.
Yeah. Well, school buses have them, but I mean, I'm assuming you're not taking a school bus on tour.
I
No.
mean, that would be cool.
Magic
but-
school bus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, just to, sort of, I don't want to dwell too much on your own stuff versus the band thing, but is it currently, now that there's the four of you, are you still writing the songs? Or is it more of a collective?
I would say it's pretty darn collective nowadays. I still write the lyrics.
Okay.
But in the way the song structure works and everything like that, I mean, we wrote a new song today at practice that Jordan was just messing around on his bass, and it kind of started to take on a bit of like a Yola Tango vibe, and we all just started playing along. And it's pretty democratic, I think, now,
Yeah.
in terms of how we write. But I usually bring the lyrics.
Yeah, you definitely bring the seed of the song, the
Sure.
skeleton
Yeah.
of it, and
Yeah.
then you flesh it out with arrangements and
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah, it's one of the most like easily democratic songwriting process that I've ever been like
Oh, cool.
involved with. Like it's so easy to just float ideas out there and just kind of see what sticks, and everybody's really receptive to everybody's ideas. And
Yeah.
I've never really had that in a band that
Okay.
I've been in before, so it's been it's always very comforting when you're like playing stuff and it just
Yeah, it just works.
everybody just rolls with everybody's
People are
ideas.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no like obvious like no, your idea's dumb. Get that
Sure,
out of here.
sure, yeah.
It's
Except
all-
when Joel has an idea, then I find.
Joel's
I
been
still come up with ideas though.
Joel's been trying to
Stop
write
you.
this outro of this one song, and we just don't let him. Every time
Yeah.
he wants to play
No,
it,
no,
we're
no.
like,
But I actually
we
want
are.
to work on it.
But I think
we
it's
all
good.
want to
too.
work on that.
I think
But
it's just like
become a running joke.
I think
now.
that the problem with it is that it's just like it's too hard. It's so good, but it's like this really intricate, awesome
Okay.
part that I love a
like
lot.
technically hard.
But like
No.
for me,
Okay, okay.
because he
so
wrote this,
not hard.
he wrote this very intricate bass part for it,
Yeah.
and I like.
It's all on Jordan basically.
Yeah,
Four
everybody
chords.
else can play all the rest of the
Everybody
stuff,
plays
and then
four chords. but
he's
Jordan's
just like,
got
"Hey,
this,
can you
big-
play this bass part?" I was just like, "I don't have the brain power."
We're gonna work on it.
We're gonna get it though.
At our
We're
next
gonna
practice,
get it.
but we say that a lot at practice.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But we will do it.
So, I always hate asking this question. It sucks as a question, but how do you define the type of music you play? I have ideas from what I heard, but
Oh, I want to hear yours after.
well, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, I'll explain it after.
Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking, but like it's so hard nowadays, especially because everyone has subgenres of subgenres
Oh, yeah.
and all these ridiculous names for everything. But if you say you run into someone you haven't seen in a while, they hear you in a band, what's the kind of basic way you just describe it?
I always just say like 90s indie rock.
Okay.
I know we're
Yeah,
not
me too.
we're not in the 90s currently.
Right.
But like I think a lot of the things that we touch on are like Pavement and
Sure.
and
Weezer.
yeah.
Yeah, my guitar solos are like, there's some weird inner teenager brain that I have, and
Yeah.
it just like punches out Weezer solos, and I can't even I like Weezer, but it's
Yeah.
not like I'm like Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, but also then like just indie rock in general because
Yeah,
I mean
sure.
I like, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s Modest Mouse is a huge writing influence for me personally. And we don't sound like that at all, though, so it's tough to...
I think garage rock too. Like we're a little messier than like now indie rock. Like indie rock to me a lot of times has keyboards or synths or whatever.
It's super polished, right? And
we like the little.
That's why you need that '90s qualifier.
Yeah,
in there.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a little bit.
Or you could just say power pop and then.
Okay, well that's the same point there because
that.
when I first listened I thought power pop, but then it was really sad.
Yeah.
It was like and power pop. The idea I get from power pop usually is that it's even if the songs aren't happy, it's fairly upbeat. But
celebratory, fist in the air.
And this is the opposite of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know for sure if all the songs are downers, but the
they
tone of it is down, and it's weird that it works with power pop because So does it still power pop if it's not like joyful and balloons and confetti? It's like
it's both.
Who knows?
Happy sad.
Yeah.
Happy sad power pop. Oh god, that's
Happy
it.
sad power pop is perfect. Why haven't we been writing that in our bio?
Well, I mean, I did put
that indie rock though.
Well, I put melancholy power
Yes,
pop.
actually,
you put
So
melancholy,
it's like
yeah.
that's exactly. What
Okay,
that is.
that's good. Well, now we know.
Yeah.
Power pop is the big one for me. I like to say we're an alt country band because Joel hates that genre more than anything.
You hate the name or the genre? Like, do you hate the concept of an alt?
It's just country. I'm not. It has to be really, really, really good. Very specific.
Okay.
70s country kind of style.
When I say alt country, I'm talking like my boy Garth,
No.
my boy
Actually,
Toby.
That Angel Olsen song that I fell in love with. That's definitely alt country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
love
some
Angel
really
Olsen.
good alt country.
There is,
though
yeah.
in the
There is
world.
good alt country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like alt country though is like one of those genres like post rock where it doesn't really mean anything and
Oh my gosh,
it's not evocative of anything. Like I mean, I know country is something. Alt, I guess, is kind of something, but combined, it doesn't tell me anything. I know what it is supposed to be, but
Yeah.
Have you seen the country bands that play Wednesday nights at the Sherbrooke?
I haven't.
Oh my god,
they
they're
good?
so good. What are they called?
I don't know. I want to go
All
now.
sorts.
Oh yeah, okay, I've heard about them. I haven't
They're
seen
so
them.
good.
Yeah, cool.
All Saints.
Do you
All
swear on your podcast?
Yes,
Okay,
people do swear on the
just making
podcast.
sure.
Yeah,
You dropped an F-bomb.
it's okay.
It's casual.
It's
We're all
allowed, it's allowed.
adults here.
It's
Yeah.
like it's a
Just making
podcast.
sure.
We're not on the radio.
It does air on the radio.
Oh.
But it airs on it airs on UMFM once after we record this and at midnight on a
Oh,
Sunday.
great.
So the the usual
Yeah.
swearing
Yeah.
rules are kind of it's a bit looser.
Yeah.
But,
We blur the lines a little bit.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Because I mean, there's 3 people listening on Sunday night at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, there'll
it's
be
us.
7.
Yeah. Now there's 7.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so yeah, I mean the melancholy power pop that I think is a good sound. Do you think that
Done.
are there other local bands that you think that you mesh well with?
Oh, yeah.
Sound wise, like, I mean, maybe not necessarily other bands that are melancholy power pop, but like who would you sort of feel a kinship with? I guess.
House Panther.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
In
enough.
my opinion, like
Awesome, yeah.
I don't know if I love Bailey's songwriting so much, and just I think that it's like I don't know. I feel like she's gonna listen to this and be like, "This is so weird." But I feel like we kind of think the same way about some things, and we both write kind of happy sounding songs with sad lyrics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure, definitely, yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
so I feel like there's definitely like I really like House Panther.
We feel a
I feel
kinship
like there's
to that
definitely
band.
some
Yeah.
kinship
Remember
in
there
that.
was a time we were in the car and we turned on UMFM or CQW and
Yeah.
there was like this killer song. We
Yeah.
were like, what is this? And it was House
And then
Panther.
and
Right
then
on,
I
right on.
Shazammed it, and it was like, this is
this is
House
what-
Panther.
yeah,
Holy
yeah.
We were
shit.
like, oh,
Yeah.
of course. That's why we were like going crazy.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
like, yeah, this song.
Yeah.
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 So funny.
I can actually see that though with the happy sad thing like that.
Yeah.
It's a really good example. She played a show in my house last year in the summer.
Oh, sweet.
Amazing.
And it
Cool.
was acoustic. It was great. It was just like
Yeah.
very much the downer, but also really uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you got here, we just watched her like B&B session.
Oh yeah, that's really
It's
good.
So
Yeah, yeah,
good.
cool.
It's super solid.
Yeah.
And we're playing our album release show. We're going to play with Veneer.
Yeah.
So, and
Okay,
they're just
okay,
like,
yeah.
they don't really sound like us, but I feel like they're.
Yeah.
We've played a couple shows with them, and I don't know.
I really
There's a
want
nice
to do a
little
show
scene.
with human music.
Yeah,
that'd be
human
cool.
music, yeah.
Just
that's
in
like,
terms of they write killer songs as well, you know, like they're just.
they've
so-
also kind of got that like pop vibe, but they're also kind of heavy sometimes.
Yeah.
So
They got the Flying Nun sound just
Yeah.
on
Yes.
full on lockdown.
Yeah.
But they should be signed to that label.
Yeah.
yeah,
I love human music.
It's good band, yeah. Okay, well, the heavy thing though. I mean, you guys had you occasionally turned the fuzz up a bit, right?
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
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 That's the '90s thing rearing its head again, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the pavementy side
Sure,
of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always thought like, jangly is super fun, but I always find myself I've always wanted to just write like super clean jangly pop music, and it never when it's done, it never ends up sounding like that. It's always fuzzy and heavy at parts and like kind of dramatic. But I guess maybe that's just my songwriting style. I can't really.
I think that's also just like
swerve.
when the four of us are in a room together, we just have the tendency to kind of gravitate towards that because it feels good to play.
Yeah,
it's fun to be really loud.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think I hadn't ever played in a band before Merin.
Oh, really?
And like, I played solo.
Okay.
And I think even when I was like a young teenager playing guitar secretly in my room, I just wanted to play like in a punk band. That's all I wanted. Yeah. But I didn't have the opportunity because there was like no other girls that I knew that were playing in punk bands, and it was really hard at that time. But so like anytime we're able to play something really loud and crazy, that's all I want to do. Yeah.
Also, Catherine played saxophone on the latest Ken Mode record.
Oh, yeah, like I really like heavy music. Yeah. So, but I never really got the opportunity to do that. Like my solo stuff's like, my band's Tansy, and it's just like sad.
Yeah. I didn't make the connection.
Minimal bullshit guitar loops. Like it's totally different. But I think then Merin, I'm able to like become the rock star I dreamed of. Yeah.
Sometimes when I sleep, I feel like I'm falling. Sometimes when I'm awake, I feel like I'm falling. Mystic dream reader, help me touch these ethereal things. Such a late sleeper, I got plenty of material. Mystic dream reader, help me touch these ethereal things. Such a late sleeper, I got plenty of material. Sometimes when I sleep, I feel like I'm flying. Sometimes when I'm awake, I feel like I'm dying. Mystic dream reader, help me touch these ethereal things. Such a late sleeper, I got plenty of material. Mystic dream reader, help me touch these ethereal things. Such a late sleeper, I got plenty of material.
I was gonna say on tour we're all gonna make mix CDs or Spotify playlists. So it'll be kind of interesting, like
just to like get used to each other's music.
that
we're
person
gonna be
has
listening
control.
to a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of overlap in what we listen to, but there's also a lot of different things. I mean, Catherine, you and I kind of like bonded over our shared love for like grouper and ambient music. And then like, I guess Jordan, you and I have been hanging out for a long time.
Yeah, Cole and I have been sharing music.
A lot of music
back
overlap
and forth for a long time, and I feel like we have a pretty decent influence on each other's like music taste in some way.
Yeah, and Joel and we bonded over like the OCs and like LCD Sound System, super not our band.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that. Yeah,
but like we all four of us listen to a lot of music. I think so.
Yeah, maybe that's what we have in common more than we have like specific bands. We just have like we
Just
all
quantity.
you just
just
consume so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
music.
But I think we also, like, the key element that we have in all of our taste is unpretentious and not necessarily, like, skill-based.
Okay.
We're not, like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
any of us are super into, like, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
just like
Yeah.
a 35-minute
kind of
prog
stuff.
song or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Actually,
We're
is
more
that
just
our
like-
thing? None of us like prog.
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah.
I don't
Maybe.
like prog.
I don't either.
Okay,
I
but
have heard some prog that I like. But
Oh, damn it.
I would. It's not my go-to.
Yeah.
okay, but technically, like, what about like the Brian Eno and what's his name?
Well, anything Brian Eno
Fripp.
does, I'm into.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Fripp and Eno records.
King's
They're
Yeah,
filed
Fripp
under.
is very prog.
They're filed
yeah.
under prog at
Yeah.
the store. I like those albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a prog fan.
Well, I guess we like.
You heard it here first.
Right,
folks.
right, right. That'd be the clip I take out of this.
Yeah,
Use
yeah.
as an advertisement
I'm
for
a
the
prog
episode.
fan.
Yeah.
But maybe that unpretentious. I mean, the term you used, unpretentious. I think that a lot of indie rock has the potential. Because I know indie rock is such a wide-ranging genre, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that has the potential to be pretentious.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
bands that will
Yeah.
get 6 keyboard players, and they'll add like all these multiple layers and stuff. And I don't.
Yeah.
You're clearly not doing that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No.
It's very like straightforward and like there's not a lot of extra stuff. Yeah.
Superfluous stuff,
It's
yeah.
it's very just like what the four of us are playing in a room
Yeah.
together. Which,
Yeah.
Cole, you're pretty good usually. Like even when we were recording and stuff, you were like, "Let's not go crazy on this. Like let's not
Yeah.
go into every nitty gritty detail. Like let's leave it
Yeah.
or whatever." You're usually like that's kind of your philosophy on things. Like you like little mistakes and you like little like flubby things. I don't know.
It's not necessarily that I like those things as much as if I go down that road, I
You get
will
obsessive.
ruin a song.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
and I've
totally.
ruined so
Go
many
too
of
far
my-
the other way, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I beat, like when I'm recording by myself, I beat some of those songs to death and didn't even like them anymore. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, why did I re-record this?
Yeah.
And then you get too close to it and you don't know.
Yeah.
And we recorded our album in 2 days of like relatively short sessions
Right.
with
Yeah.
Riley.
Right.
And
Who has recorded everybody in the city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, he's
That's
awesome.
Like,
oh,
actually
man.
is
He's
the
just
best.
so easy to work with and fun and like I just really value his opinions when he has them. But he really only like he'll say something just so well placed. Like he's not gonna comment on something unless it really needs like a comment.
yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
I feel
We're always,
our
like,
last
reviewing.
interview that we did it was just like an ad for Riley.
It was.
Yeah. And I think we're going down
Let's
that
hear
hill.
it again.
I've done other ones where that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets around, yeah,
Oh, he's amazing, yeah.
for sure.
He left in some cool stuff in this recording, like of the album, like Cole's like making a little noise or like we
Yeah.
like count ourselves in or whatever, and like
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. in
Little pedal
recordings.
clicks and stuff
Yeah.
like that too.
Yeah.
Do you think it's maybe almost, like you were saying before, you wanted to be in a punk band? Not that this sounds like punk rock, but it's kind of the punk aesthetic in that it is raw and honest.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Unpolished.
yeah, unpolished. Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The genre the genre is just sad 28-year-old who lives in his dad's basement.
Right.
I think is
That's
And
Genre?
wants to be have a punk aesthetic.
yeah.
You don't understand, Dad. It's punk.
Cole's dad is amazing though. Just
Yeah.
he's a chill dude.
He
Let's
actually
make an
looks
ad
a
for
lot
your
like me.
dad.
Yeah.
And one time somebody
Joel,
came to
yeah.
the show and thought I was Daryl playing the drums.
You're closer in age to him than you are to me.
But yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how does that work for you then? Like, do you? I mean, especially on just connecting on music, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, generation to generation, there's obviously some similarities, but there's a lot of stuff that people just
I don't
miss
know
out on
how
or-
they put up with me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I forget that you're older, like that much older. I mean, you have a wife and children you have like teenage children,
Teenage
which is the
children,
one
yeah.
thing that I'm like, oh yeah, you have teenage.
That's
children.
that's the one only
Yeah.
real reminder that
Yeah.
I get. That's
think-
like that there's an
I
age
do
gap at all.
remember like one of our first jams. When you asked me how old I was, and I said I said my age, and you guys both looked at me like,
Yeah.
because I'm like literally your parents' age, right?
Yeah, like you
Oh,
are
well,
the
both
exact
me and
same
Jordan
age
have-
as my mom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
me and Jordan have very, very young
Yeah,
mothers.
yeah.
Okay.
And so.
Yeah, so I was just like,
yeah, he's the same age as my mom.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But yeah.
obviously, it's not a barrier.
No,
to
we
it's not
don't
even
talk
something-
about it. We don't even
Yeah.
think
It's not even
about
something
it.
that I think
Yeah,
of
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing too. One of the earlier practices we did, Catherine said that we treat her like a person. We don't treat her like a woman.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
feel like the girl in the band.
And I feel that way too
so
in this
much
band.
better.
You don't feel like the
treat
old
me
guy.
like the old guy.
Yeah,
They treat me
yeah.
like a person,
Yeah.
which is nice.
I imagine that helps with the chemistry too. That no one's feeling like they're excluded for whatever.
It's like it's amazing how lucky we got with like just the first 3 people that Cole asked to be in a band, and we all like each other so much. Like it shouldn't be the case when you just like accidentally stumble upon 3 people out of just sending cold calls out essentially, and like
you expect at least one of them's gonna be just awful.
Yeah, just like
just
like one of the people is just like that's not the vibe, But it's like it was just instantly the vibe and has been for the past 2 years. It's like it's always one of the highlights of.
We'll see what happens after tour.
Yeah, right. We're gonna spend the 2.5 weeks in a van together. Yeah. That'll be a test.
I've already got the classifieds written up.
The GG ads or whatever. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, not to harp on you being the old guy in the band, but like. When I'm interviewing people of all different ages. I mean, I've had like 70-year-olds and 20-year-olds or whatever on the show, and it seems like the older people get, just their ability to, for example, go on tour is just so not a thing anymore, unless the band is their 100% focus.
Right.
So, I mean, with teenage kids, kids too, I get it. Like, being able to go on tour is going to be harder for you. How do you work that?
This will be the first time in like 15 years that I've been on a tour this long, for sure.
And we had to check, like, we were like, okay, like, can you do this? Like, what's the plan? Like, we're going east, and then we're coming home. We'll be home for a couple of days, and then we're doing a little west circuit. So it kind of is nice, like, just you can be home for a couple of days, check in, and then kind of...
And then go back out again,
And then go back out.
Yeah, my kids are 16, and they really, like, don't necessarily...
They don't need you necessarily, yeah.
But, I mean, we have to be like, is Brenna cool? Like, your wife's like, hey, where are you going? But
we both work from home, so there'll be a bit of like, she'll be alone a bit much, maybe. Yeah. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe she'll have wild parties.
Maybe she'll want you to go back on a tour.
She could hit the road again.
Yeah.
If we ever went on like a longer extended tour, like when we get super famous, should we just like throw the kids in the U-Haul?
You got merch guys right there.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. They could be entourage or dancers.
Cool.
Yeah, they're 16 now, so by the time we're famous, they'll be like 30.
I don't know. I'm older than you, so I'm already famous. So
right, yeah, that's
Joel's been in a ton of bands.
Yeah, you have been.
Yeah, Joel's. Yeah, you're actually the tour veteran. Like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been on tour.
Well, that was my next question. Yeah, it's like, so have the rest of you been on tour? I mean, I know you have before, but
yeah, I've done a couple of decent ones before, but
with which band?
I was with a band called Adam Haney and Co.
Okay,
yeah. But that was a couple of years ago since the last time I did that.
Cool.
So it's exciting to go out again.
And I've done tours, but I tour with my partner James because Bevanon, and so we're in Bevanon together, and so we have driven, but mostly like we do flyouts because we don't have a drummer. It's just electronic. So we fly somewhere, we've rented a car and then kind of done that, or fly one place, fly to the next place. So I've never done a driving tour.
Well, it's a little more convenient, but you don't have to have a drummer.
Oh, it's so nice.
Or giant amps or anything.
Yeah, we should think about that.
Right
so done.
Here.
No, we need Joel. He's also the car.
Yeah, you need one of those. Yeah, definitely.
We're taking his car.
Ah, yes.
So, I mean, having not gone on tour with this group before, what are your expectations of tour? I mean, especially, like, you haven't been on tour at all. So, what are you thinking? Like, do you know that there's people out there who have heard you? Have you been in contact with other bands maybe that are familiar with your sound? Or are you just going at it cold and hoping for the best?
A lot of it was pretty cold, just because we are, like,
You're fairly new still, right?
Like, the only thing that we've released that we've worked on together is, like... at this time, the single that we put out in the EP
and the EP's coming
will be coming out like it's like a week before we leave.
Sure.
So there's not a lot of opportunity for people to like get super familiar with us. I mean, when I was booking a lot of these shows, I sent the whole EP out, and so there's some people that are excited about it and like stoked to have us just based on the music. But I mean, we don't really have any exposure outside of Winnipeg, so this is kind of that's
the goal. Yeah.
Just get like the one or two people that really like you and send your music to their friends. Kind of thing,
and then next time you come back, hopefully
exactly.
People
So
so.
I'm not saying there's going to be one or two people at the shows. I hope not.
Yeah.
One or two super fans.
Yeah. Well,
you need those two super fans in the front.
Exactly.
You do, yeah.
Sold out.
I don't care about those people. They just pay for a guest. Yeah. Just kidding. So, if anyone's
come
listening to this, come to our show.
Hey, if we get our grant, then we can pay for gas.
Thanks, MFM.
Yeah.
So is this EP kind of intended to be almost like a calling card? Like, this is who we are, this is an introduction to Merin, or...
Yeah.
And then with the hopes of obviously following it up with something more substantial, or...
I don't know if we necessarily thought about it like that, but it totally will. I think it works that way. Mm-hmm. It sounds a lot like us, more so than the stuff that I recorded by myself.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And because it just actually sounds like us in a room together. Yeah. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, the first time I've heard a representation of what we actually sound like live. It's pretty close, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we just really wanted to record all together. And we had already been playing together for a year
at that point,
when we did it, when we recorded it, and so it was just like let's get this done, and then we took a really long time to finish it. And so,
how long did it take to record?
It took 2 days to record, but we sat on it for a while because we wanted the timing to be right.
Okay,
I was annoying about it.
We didn't. Yeah, Jordan didn't want to put it out in the winter, which I'm glad we waited. Now, because it seems like a good time.
It's a good time to put it out, go on tour. I think, and actually we've had really overwhelmingly positive response of people really like it, and I think it's just a lot of different people will like the sound of Merin, so I'm assuming that when we go on the road it's going to be the same thing. And we booked really great venues. I'm just really excited.
I'm so stoked to go on tour. Mm-hmm. It's a dream of mine, but I don't have the get up and go to actually do these things by myself.
Right.
So
now you have people around you who are helping to get that happen.
My support system.
Sure.
Yeah.
Support each other.
Yeah.
I don't believe that in 1,000 years I'll get out in a way that preserves my dignity. Who cares? It's gone anyway, and it's not left or right. It's right or wrong. I have no idea which is which. I'm losing it so long. Honesty breaks down the worst in me, and I can't be divided.
So this was recorded back in the winter? Is that?
It was recorded in like almost exactly a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've been sitting on it for a while then.
Yeah.
Are these songs?
Yeah.
But it is going to be bigger than Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. These songs, now that they're kind of you've had them waiting for this long, do they feel old to you at all, or are you still do they still feel fresh?
we just had that conversation 2 rehearsals ago. We talked about writing new songs, and kind of like 2 of us were like, well, let's like we got to get these songs ready. We got to get these songs tour ready, and then 2 other ones of us were like, no, let's just like write new songs. We kind of compromised and did a little bit of writing, and then we've been jamming our set, and it just was like the best time ever playing the songs again. So I feel like they'll feel really fresh on tour, but we're totally ready to just like
Start
write
writing
new
some
stuff.
more. Like as
Well,
soon
it's
as
new audiences too, right? Who've never heard of it
yeah.
before.
So as soon as we're back, like that'll definitely be the focus. Like after we play a release show.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean I was done.
I think that's one of the interesting good things. I think especially between me and Jordan is that Jordan is really into polishing something until it's like just right. And like, taking care of the fine details and running it, and I'm into just creation. So I just want to
improvise.
I constantly want to just be improvising and creating new stuff and jamming. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a good
to have one of each, right?
Oh, it's it's
Really
a great
balance each other out
dichotomy
that way.
to have because we both kind of push each other in the direction that we want to be going in with like
which is
the direction.
Clashing, I would imagine.
No, it works because we like each other.
Yeah. Right.
Like if Joel sucked, then it would be like way different because I'd be like, no, fuck that guy. Like, But it's like, like
neither of us are dicks about it.
Yeah,
Sure.
we just both we both very much have a method but respect each other's.
Yeah.
Okay.
ideas.
I'm the one who complains the loudest about running the song again.
Yeah.
And then we make Joel do it over and over again.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't written since we recorded.
No,
the
we
album.
haven't.
We've
Well,
got different songs.
Maybe a
since
better way to word that what I just asked. Do you feel like these songs are still representative of what you sound like now? Just because you're fairly new,
big
right?
time.
And I mean, a lot of new bands will change dramatically over like even a year. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I've noticed that like now, like Merin started as Cole's project. I was talking about this at last rehearsal and was just getting all crazy about it. But like Merin now has a sound, like it's like taken on a bigger form than just Cole's ideas or just like our ideas. And like I'm so sure about like what Merin sounds like, and we've still sounded like that this whole time, even when we write new stuff.
I'm barely involved now.
You could just take Cole out, and there would still be Merin.
Yeah, I'm actually, if we're speaking of classifieds, I've got one.
Oh, yeah.
I've got like some ad space rented that I...
Singer who can sing. Well, David Berman said all my favorite singers couldn't sing, so there you go.
Oh, there you go.
It's a line in a song.
That's
Yeah. It is. Oh, David Berman said is a line in one of our songs.
One of our songs.
That is true.
That's cool. So if people are hearing about you for the first time on this show, what's the best way for them to... I mean, obviously seeing you on tour would be the best way, but what's the best way for someone to find out more information? If they want to find out when your tour dates are, or maybe they're hearing this after the tour is over, what should they do to find out more information? Or hear the music?
We're always
Internet.
going on the Instagram,
Yeah.
the gram.
We have
We have
Facebook.
Merin.ca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have a website now. Joel is actually a computer language
I'm a computer
programmer.
Yeah.
Joel is
Stop
a...
holding down.
Hey, kid.
Having a drummer as a computer is pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah, I think we were just talking about the advantages.
Yeah.
www.merin.ca.
Yeah. And our Instagram.
Our Instagram has the most mixed presence.
Instagram's the best because
It's so funny.
to do these like tossed off stupid posts that are weird and dumb and self-deprecating, and Jordan does these like really heartfelt beautiful posts where he's like, oh my god, love you guys.
And then now, we haven't discussed this, but let's do this. On tour, me and Joel will run the Instagram stories, and who knows?
Yeah.
So the tone will be all over the place.
Yeah.
It's
all
all
you want me
about
on running your Instagrams.
Yeah. And then we're also, for people out there who might want to find us, Apple Music and Spotify.
Yeah.
And
Literally
Bandcamp.
any...
Bandcamp.
are we on Tidal?
Yeah, we're on Tidal.
Does that still exist?
Yeah,
Does-
apparently.
Yeah,
I just
Jay-Z
got an email
actually...
today being like, hey...
From Jay-Z?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he actually reached
Jay-Z
out
like
to us.
called me and
Jay-Z
he's
liked
like...
Merin.
He's like, yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, our album will be on Bandcamp, or is on Bandcamp, depending on...
Yeah,
when
there's actually, like, at this time...
There's one song.
There's a pre-order for it, but by the time you're listening to this, it
It'll
will
be
be
on
there. And you
fully
know,
there, available for
If
purchase.
you listen to Merin and you like Merin, the best way to support us is through Bandcamp, because we make more money that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Because I love Bandcamp, and it's good for artists.
Yeah,
Also-
we've had a few Bandcamp sales that are just getting deposited into my personal bank account, so
Yeah.
I gotta
it's
figure
great.
that out. I gotta change that. I want to make it go to like I haven't spent any of it, but I gotta make it go to like because we haven't made any money.
Make that go towards the pizza.
Yeah, the pizza fund. But Jeremy Pelland, my good friend Jeremy, just bought the album the other day.
Thanks,
Pre-ordered
Jeremy.
it.
Oh, nice.
And he paid $7.27 because both of our birthdays are July 27th.
Oh, nice.
It was very sweet. I told him he could have had it for free then.
Is it one of those
7.
pay as you pay what you want things, or is it
It's like a minimum, but you can do more kind
Okay.
of thing.
so you're hoping people do more? Obviously.
I mean, yeah,
No,
but it's like
I mean-
I do feel weird about that, but it's like if somebody's like so stoked and they just want to give us a lot of
Yeah,
money,
of course
I
you'll
mean,
accept it. Yeah.
we'll accept it, but it's like I don't like want to send a link
Yeah.
to people being like, you can pay what you want.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah. Nudge.
Eh?
Yeah.
Just to set the record straight here, as I feel like we sound very obsessed with money right now, we don't make any money in this band.
I think that was
It's
clear. I think
a side project,
Right, but-
and we don't care that much about. If you can't afford the album and you do want it and you don't have streaming services, literally send us an email and
Yeah,
we'll send it to
totally.
you. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ow! I just hurt my.
Oh, also,
hand.
if you come to a show, you can buy a tape because the
Cassette!
That was
the
yeah.
EP is going to be
Yeah.
out on cassette.
Cool.
Yeah,
Just cassette.
just cassette.
What was the reason for that choice? I mean, that's
6 songs.
Yeah.
I think having a 6-song CD is like it costs more, and it doesn't have the
Collector feel.
it feels nicer to have like a little cassette with like nice little artwork on it,
totally, yeah.
and you can personalize it a little bit more. We got like a bright turquoise blue
Yeah, I hate
cassette.
jewel cases.
Yeah.
Come on, I
Yeah.
don't want to keep those people in business.
Yeah, and it
Jewel-
just feels like
jewel
more of a
case.
business card in
Yeah.
a sense, I guess, like in a not
They have
shitty
download
way.
codes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a cute little thing. I like
Yeah.
I think it should become a thing that bands release albums on T-shirts.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
we
They
talked
just
about
have
doing
the
that.
down-
Oh my
Templates.
god, yeah.
They have this like the CD album artwork
Okay.
that's sort of attached, so
Yeah.
you get the CD album artwork, so you can still have the.
How do you
physical.
listen to it?
The same way
you
listen to
put your
any music
T-shirt
on the
in,
internet.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
you put your
There's a
T-shirt on your
machine.
record
It's like a
player.
QR code or
and
something?
you
Yeah,
drop
yeah,
the needle.
Yeah.
No, it has a download code
Yeah.
with a tag or something.
download
Okay,
code,
fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we talked about doing that, but ultimately the shirts that we want to make weren't our album art.
Okay.
We had to do something more limited, like in terms of color
Oh,
profile.
but the shirts are amazing.
Yeah,
The shirts are
great.
awesome.
So good.
But
Cole's partner is a
Yeah,
designer, and
shout
she's
out
done
to
a
Brenna.
ton of stuff for us.
I know
all of our
Yeah.
visuals.
they're always say partner, but it just makes me feel like me and Brenna are just a couple of cowboys.
I just use the word partner.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's great. It makes me feel very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy, Brenna, thanks.
Both Joel's wife and my partner
Oh, yeah.
are
That
both
would
named
be
Brenna, and they're both
confusing.
ceramic artists. They
That's
make
very
pottery.
confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our names rhyme. I'm
Yeah.
Joel, he's Cole.
Yeah. That's...
I'm a
What are
poet,
the odds?
and I didn't even realize I was rhyming those words.
Okay, so people can go to all the streaming
Yeah.
stuff, and then tapes, buy them on tour.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they'll be available somewhere else. At some point.
They'll probably be up on our Bandcamp too.
Unless we sell out
Yeah.
on tour. Woo!
Come to my dad's house, sell you some tapes.
Yeah.
David Berman said that he was hospitalized
Well, I'm glad to hear you bringing out tape because like I'm one of those people who has not fully jumped on the board with the streaming stuff yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to use Spotify or any of that stuff, and I have so many tapes and CDs and records that I refuse to just scrap it all and do something new. So people get mad at me all the time because they send people who want to be on the podcast will often send me links to Spotify. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. Like Bandcamp, yes, Bandcamp's good for that because I can actually hit play and listen to the whole thing. But but Spotify, it's I don't know. I think I'm just too stubborn to.
Yeah. Well, that's
I don't do Spotify either.
No.
That's not necessarily like I feel that and I agree with that. I have a large physical media collection as well, but I still use. I'm on a family sharing plan for Apple Music, right? So there's 5 of us on it for $15, and we just split it. And that way, if I want to like listen to something new or discover something, I use it for that, and then I buy a physical copy as well. Yeah. So I still like. I mean, I guess you're spending more money than you need to at that point, but I can't stop buying physical copies of music.
I can't, especially with local stuff, because I'm always paranoid that it's going to disappear.
Totally physical with local.
Yeah,
for sure.
I have my record collection is getting too big. It's behind me here for the people on the podcast. It's getting almost too big for my shelves, and I can't put my tape deck in, so I stopped buying records because I was like, I need another shelf. I was like, that's the stupidest reason to stop buying records.
Get the one from IKEA that's got the cubbies.
I have that, but mine's full. I have the same problem.
Yeah, mine's not that big, but it's just like
mine's
I used
full
to
now
buy
too.
a lot more records than I do now.
Mine's full now too, but my friend Aubrey made me a wooden case for like my recently played and like and like one genre I keep in there, and so it's got like a divider in the middle, and then I keep recently played in there, so it freed up a little bit of space.
What's the one genre you keep in there?
Hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah,
why hip hop?
Just because for me, like most of the collection could be classified as like the pop rock section if you're at the record store. Yeah. And then like. I don't know, if I was to pick a genre that's not pop rock, hip hop really jumped out at me. So I pulled, and it just keeps it all in one place. So when I'm in the hip hop mood, I just
pull the box
dig in.
Oh, see, you organized by like you pretend you're a record store.
I mean,
that's cool.
I don't really play. Everything else is alphabetical, and then
I used to do alphabetical, but then now it's just become
just random.
Yeah, it just
mine's fully alphabetical.
Mine was alphabetical, and then I switched it to by genre, and then I realized that was a mistake, and now it's a mixture of
it's like in High Fidelity when
autobiographical.
Yes. Mine's totally random.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess that makes it. I don't know.
What's good about that is you can just sort of like not look at it and just go
and just pick something. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You don't.
You are a computer. See, you made a computer noise. You know.
And I know this whole conversation is a little bit off topic, but I'm always interested because, like I said, the range of people I'm interviewing age-wise is so varied that like I've had people on the show who have put out tapes but don't have a tape deck, and it's just because they know people are going to buy their physical copies and they have no way of listening to their own album, which is super weird to me, but it makes sense, I guess, right? It's like
I did that for Tansy. I didn't have a tape deck at the time, and my friend Claire had to come over with her tape deck so I could test
to make sure it sounded okay. Yeah,
before I got the rest of them. But
I don't have a tape deck because I had one and it broke. So actually, when the tapes got delivered to my house, we just got them like a week ago or something, and I actually just like brought a copy over to my friend's house and tested it to make sure like our music was on it.
Yeah, right, right.
How does it sound?
Sounds really good.
Oh, yeah, we haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, you haven't heard it at all.
No,
I mean,
not the tape.
We know that. Yeah.
We have the digital versions.
I have no idea what the album even is. What songs are on it?
This is a System of a Down album, right?
Yeah. Old enough to have played cassette release parties, unironically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now it's coming back.
When it was the dominant actual physical media
for sure,
in the early 90s.
Well, I still have all my tapes from the 90s that I just never got rid of. So
it's so good.
Yeah, I didn't want to buy them again on CD.
I've got like Sweat on tape.
Oh, right on.
I've got Buttermilk 5.
That's cool.
Yeah, just some crazy old 90s Winnipeg stuff.
Well, and that's the stuff that's going to disappear, and that's why I'm always so paranoid with local albums. I go to like thrift stores and buy pretty much every local CD or tape I can find because someone is going to disappear somewhere. I don't trust like Spotify's going to blow up and then
it's all going to be gone.
Their servers are going to get hacked. And
I have been ordering the Crab Skull cassettes.
They're so good.
Pretty much all of them.
They're amazing.
Crab
Skull is amazing. And CDs, I feel like what happens to them for most people is they get uploaded onto a computer, or not even if people have streaming services.
Yeah.
And then they just collect dust somewhere until they're like the person actually starts to resent that they have a CD that they're always cleaning up, and somehow it ends up on the shelf, and it's like, oh, what's this CD doing here again? Why is this here? I hate it. Then they put it in their car, and then somebody steps on it, and it's like, it's like
the Valley Village, and I buy it.
The fate. We'll make a CD copy just for you if you want one. Yeah, I'll decorate it myself. On the plane.
That's what we did for
the
Cole EP.
That's awesome.
We did we kind of released it just by burning some copies of it and doing cute art on it.
Mine weren't very cute. They were very poorly drawn.
Yeah. Okay, so just to wrap things up nicely here, the tour is starting when? What are the dates of the tour?
It starts May 3rd, and we go till the 20th.
Okay, and then the Winnipeg release show is
the 24th of May.
Okay, where's it happening?
At the Goodwill.
With who?
With Veneer and Baseball Hero.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess the website is the best place to find out about stuff. Or
I think right now our website just says Bush did 9/11.
Oh,
so really?
Yeah. No, it doesn't anymore.
He did. It did say that.
It's a weird running joke of our band.
We spent a whole set one time trying to convince the audience that George Bush did 9/11. Catherine hates it.
I'm like the PR manager of the band, and I'm always like, stop it.
Stop talking about 9/11.
We're Merlin.
Oh, Cole used to do this bit. Cole always did this bit at the beginning where he would say our band name wrong, and then so many of my friends or other people would come up and be like, Merlin is so good.
At the Yes We Mystic show,
like it though.
Yeah.
At the Yes We Mystic show that we played, I introduced us as Yes We Merin, and then this kid came up to me at the Goodwill one time. He was like, "Hey, you play in Yes We Merin, right?" And I was like, "Dude, yes, I do."
Our Facebook, we'll be active on our Facebook too. Our tour dates are up there.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This conversation went off the rails.
It's okay.
Fast.
It's okay. It's what happens. It's the point of the show, right? You talk and it goes where it goes. Right. Okay, good. People should check out the EP when it's out and buy it on tape or online or whatever you do. And if you want to hear more episodes of this show, go to witchpolice.com. You can find all 380 or so episodes for free download and streaming. You can also tune in on Sundays at midnight on 101.5 UMFM and hear older episodes that kind of get a second boost. So, we're recording this now in the spring. It might not air till fall or winter or something. But the cool thing is if by then the EP's out, so if someone happens to be driving their car at midnight and they like what they hear, they can just go home and download it or whatever. So that's
awesome. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for having us on your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me over.
Super fun.
Extremely good time.
Cool.
Sick.
Cool.
You settled down. You found someone care about, and you moved out of town, got a place in some safe neighborhood, and I tried sometimes, I think I need a drink, and I think I sometimes try. I would trade things that I had never meant to say, but everything is clearer in the bright fog lights of shame. I'm in stasis in the city and aging quickly. And when I border on self-pity, well, I think maybe I should sell my guitars. Maybe I should stop making payments on my car. Maybe